Everything
I don't
is
know about this, dude.
everything is
Hello,
wrong.
everybody. I'm having some technical difficulties, but what else is new? We have a random haul. We went to a couple of yard sales today. I've got a couple things from, where did we go? Dollar Tree.
I don't even know where it went
I got a
anymore.
couple drinks to try. Let's start with drinks. We have the Starbucks pumpkin spice frappuccino. I found this at Dollar General. Found it at the one in Albany, Ohio, but I'm going to guess it's probably at most of them. That just happens to be the last one I've been in, and I saw it, and I thought, let's grab it.
Yeah,
So let's see, how pumpkin spice is it?
I don't know. Well, considering you drank almost half.
That was 3 swallows, dude.
Yeah, dang.
I drank out of the narrow part of the bottle.
Yeah.
So it's going to look like it came down faster. Now it's going to look like it's going slower. Just take a drink.
Yeah, it smells like pumpkin spice, all right.
No, I can't smell anything.
You old geezers can't smell.
I wonder if I might have had COVID at some point and didn't know it because I have lost my sense of smell.
It's all right.
It's fine.
Serviceable.
It's as pumpkin spice as any of the other ones we've tried.
Yeah.
I love the bottle, though, with the different color pumpkins coming up the side. That's really cute. I'm not going to go out of my way to get it again, but it's fine. I wish pumpkin spice had some pumpkin flavor, too, so it tastes more like pumpkin pie. But they don't put pumpkin flavor, it's just the spices. So it's what? Cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove? Maybe some ginger? Does it say on here what spices they use? Brewed Starbucks coffee, reduced fat milk, sugar, maltodextrin, natural flavors, and pectin. So basic pumpkin pie spices are like cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and ginger. So they're probably putting some form of that in here. And they're calling it natural flavors. Wow, 300 calories per bottle. Can't drink very many of those. That's why I limit myself to one coffee bottle thing per day. That, and I don't need all that extra caffeine. Well, let's start with this. We went to Dollar Tree a couple nights ago. We got there just before they closed.
Yeah.
And they're starting to get the Halloween stuff put out. And I found these little vampire boxes. And they had them in 4 different sizes. So they stack really nice inside of each other. So I'm pretty happy with that. So for the set, it's $5. If they would sell them as a set for $5, I think they would do just as well as having them separate and hoping that you get all of them.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm lucky I found them all. I have 2 books that we found at the Little Free Library today. This one is called Benny and Shrimp. It says it's an international bestseller. I've never heard of it. It's by Caterina Mazzetti. It says offbeat, charming, and fun. Also seriously addictive. And that blurb is from Claire Cook, who wrote Must Love Dogs, which was a cute movie. I haven't read the book yet. Luann Rice, who's a pretty famous author, says, I fell in love with Benny and Shrimp from the first time they saw each other. This novel heals broken hearts, gently banishes sorrow, accommodates real life. I stayed up late to finish reading. Well, what's it about? Two middle-aged misfits in a love that should not be as complicated as it seems. It started in a cemetery. Well, there we go. You got me hooked already. It started in a cemetery where they begrudgingly share a bench. Shrimp, the childless young widow and librarian with a sharp intellect and a home so tidy that her jam jars are in alphabetical order, meets Benny, the gentle, overworked milk farmer who fears becoming the village's old bachelor. Both driven by an enormous longing and loudly ticking biological clocks, they can't escape the powerful attraction between them. But how will she learn to accept that he falls asleep at the opera and has a house full of his mother's cross stitch? And how could he ever feel at home in her minimalist apartment, bare as a dentist's waiting room? An international sensation, now available for the first time in the United States, this quirky, humorous, completely readable novel breathes new life into the age-old conundrum that is love. And it's not terribly long. It's just over 200 pages. And there's a reader's guide at the end. Excuse me. 209 pages. I'm going to have trouble reading it, though, because the print's a little bit small. But that sounds cute. And this one, it's got a cute dog on the cover. The Dog That Saved Stuart Coolidge by Jim Krause. When a stray dog starts helping himself to the tasty bones on display at the supermarket, he doesn't know his actions will brand him a criminal and spark a romance between two humans. Stuart Coolidge works as a bag boy at the store, and the incident gives him the perfect excuse to talk to his cute neighbor Lisa. Lisa, who dreams of being a journalist, asks Stuart if she can interview him about the dog for the local paper. As she gets to know Stuart, she likes him more and more, and she's delighted to learn he shares her Christian faith. Lisa's had her heart broken, but she's ready to trust again, so how can Stuart bring himself to tell her that he's not really religious at all? And that's not his only deception. When the dog shows up on the doorstep of their building, he decides to harbor the furry fugitive.
Oh, boy.
But this is no ordinary dog. He seems to have a divine sense of how things should be, and recognizing how much Stuart needs Lisa, he's determined to do all he can to bring them together.
Huh.
Aw, that sounds cute. I wonder how heavy-handed it's going to be with the Christian stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mind if it's kind of an element. Okay, that's who that person is. But if they start pounding you over the head with it,
Yeah.
that's when I kind of run into issues.
That's like me in reality also. Like, I'm not religious by any means, but I'm okay with it in some circumstances. But if they start pounding it, I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't want it to be like,
you have to be this way, you have to be that way. No,
okay, which pieces go with which things?
I don't know. I assume...
What'd you do, just grab all the ears that they had?
As much as I could find.
So we stopped at a yard sale. Well, we stopped at a couple different yard sales.
This is the second one.
Yeah, this is from the second yard sale we went to. I think the bow was with this, wasn't it? Or was it with the bunny? It matches the bunny.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Well, oh, it matches that too. I think it goes with the bunny.
Yeah, because it's the same coloration.
So this is fox?
I would assume so. I don't
We
know.
got these pink and purple fluffy ears. They've got kind of a glittery inner ear. And it's got a tail. Tail's a little flat. And it's got little paws. This is cute. I like the paw idea. That doesn't make sense.
What the hell?
Because your hand's not going to fit through the little narrow part.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do when I saw it. I'm like, what?
Of course, they're also designed for kids and not adults, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's as far as it's going to go on my hand
Yeah.
with the way it's set up, because it's narrower here. And you would think the narrow part goes toward the wrist.
Yeah.
So, in theory, it's going to fit better this way, but that puts the paw upside down.
Yeah. I feel like that was a design error on the publisher's fault because that does not make any sense.
Yeah, it's like the paw is facing the wrong direction.
And I assume it'll be the same on the other one as well.
Yeah, this could be Cheshire Cat.
Ah, maybe. If you think about it.
Because of the coloring.
Yeah.
And then there's some bunny ears and a bow tie.
Somewhere is a...
That are kind of a darker pink, glittery.
And there's also a tail, too.
Oh. And a little tail. At least this one's got a clip.
Yeah.
That other one, it's just a little strip, I guess you got to pin it on.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that goes together.
And then we have blue and black. Like, I guess this one's more of a fox and a tail. See, again, it's just a little, and this one's broken, but it's just a little, like, piece of elastic that you can attach, I guess, with a safety pin or something.
Yeah, maybe.
And then there's these hair clip ones that make ears. And then we got tiger stripes, little bow, and a tail. It's a weird tail. Little ears. What does a fox say?
Everything.
So that was, well, let's do the rest of that yard sale.
Yeah, and then we'll do the other one.
And then we'll do the other one.
I'm trying to see if there was any more. I think that might have been all the accessories.
Equestria has exploded.
Yep.
We have, this is Pinkie Pie.
Yeah, it looks like from one of the earlier, I think Gen 3.
It's got a place where we can put battery. I think the batteries are probably dead.
Everything's dead.
But on her paw, it's got like a book, play, music, and a reverse and forward. So I guess it makes sound of some kind. Tells a story or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
We have a little mini Twilight Sparkle as an alicorn. So this is after she became princess, right?
Yep. Around season 3, at the end of season 3 anyway.
We have Rainbow Dash. Being rainbow colored makes her 20% cooler.
Yeah.
We have Applejack. A lot of times you don't get Applejack stuff. For some reason, she's the one pony they don't do much with.
Especially with the hat. Like, you never really see merchandise.
Here she's actually got her hat, which is nice. What do I got here? We have Pinkie Pie again. But this one, I've never seen this one. It's got the 25th birthday celebration embroidery on it. So this one's a little bit more collectible. And it's like the old style Pinkie Pie. Older than Friendship is Magic.
Yep.
We got Twilight Sparkle as just a unicorn, no wings. So this is before this.
Yep. Well, at least season 1 to season 3 before the very end of
And which one did you say this one was?
Celestia.
This is Princess Celestia. She's an alicorn. All the princesses are alicorns, so they got a horn and wings.
Yeah.
Did they put her wings on upside down? Because the print is on the bottom.
I have no
So if her
idea.
wings are spread out, you don't see the print, but you only see it if they're up. Why didn't they put that on both sides?
I
we have... Did you say this was?
That's Cadence.
Princess Cadence. There was a storyline where she got married to Shining Armor.
Yeah. It was in season 2.
Here she is with her bridal veil.
I think that was like the last episode of season 2. I believe it was a 2-parter.
Possibly. And again, she's an alicorn. She's got a horn and wings. And she's also got a battery pack and the stuff to do music and stories and what have you. Another Rainbow Dash. Maybe that's just the way they do it because they did it the same way here.
Huh.
So yeah, if the wings are up, you see it. But if they're spread out...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm confused. Do we know who this one is?
Being that I think is like early Gen 3 or whatever, maybe?
Anybody know who this is?
I'm not sure. It might be Scootaloo.
She's bright orange and has like a purpley mane.
That looks like Scootaloo though. So it might be...
I don't know. She got hearts on her front leg and...
But I find it weird though.
And whatever that design is.
Like, if this is Scootaloo, she clearly has a cutie mark. But in
So
general...
she's not a cutie mark crusader, but she's also an earlier generation.
Yeah. And that's weird, because Rainbow Dash was the same way. Like, yeah, they both had cutie marks, but Gen 4 was more about speed and being awesome. Gen 3 was basically rarity on drugs.
Alright, before we do the next thing, we have Crayon Tropical. I've never seen this one before. We found this at the Dollar Tree in
was it the,
Parkersburg Mineral Wells.
around that area. In West Virginia somewhere.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's got a decent smell to it.
I like cranberry stuff more than you do.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good.
I mean, it's tolerable. Honestly, I kind of prefer the coffee. And that's saying something, 'cause I don't drink coffee as much.
Well, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I've become more of a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a cookbook that I found at the Athens Library. A couple bookmarks that I picked up, and this had something stuck inside it. I'm not finding it now. It had a treasure in it. Here. Apparently it's a thing where you're learning Spanish. It's exponer, expuesto, expongo, expuse,
I have no idea.
exponga, expondre. It means to expose or explain.
Sounds like something you'd hear in Harry Potter. Or when summoning a demon. A Harry Potter demon.
Well, if your demon speaks Spanish, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's set up a little different than some of the other cookbooks. It's called Appetite by Nigel Slater. And it's he talks about different things, and then he is like goes into a recipe. So here he's talking about what hollandaise sauce is and stuff, and then you need eggs, butter, and lemon, and roughly how much, and then he kind of talks about how you make it, and then
3 pairs of ears!
You're strange. And then he, and more, so there's other things you can do with it, other variations of it. So, I mean, it's a cookbook. That's why I picked it up. was in the freebie bin. So pretty happy about that. Super cute little bookmarks with little monsters and aliens and stuff. This one got some robots on it. And this one's my favorite because it got a little bat at the top, along with some other little critters. Ohio Statewide Family Engagement Center at The Ohio State University. Free information resources for families to support the educational success of K-12 students. Learn more. Well, if you want to learn more, here's a QR code. Okay. That brings us to the other yard sale we stopped at today. And we found Kuromi and
McDonald's.
Hello Kitty. And what one was this one? Pachaco. I know we paid more because it was in the packet, but
yeah,
if they would have had an open one, I would have picked up the open one.
Yeah. And it's not even going to sell them anyway.
So there's 3 more of that set.
Yeah.
We already had Kuromi.
Yeah.
But I wanted my own copy of Kuromi. And then he's got the other one.
Yeah.
So.
I have a majority of them in the box.
And then, because I'm just so worried about it being a collectible,
Hey.
I have Ursula. Because she's my favorite from Little Mermaid. And it's got a little roller. So as it rolls, she turns around. I don't have enough space to show it. I don't know. It's not. She spins.
Yeah.
There she goes. Anyway, this is from when the Little Mermaid movie came out last summer.
I think so, yeah.
I didn't even know they did these.
Yeah,
so I was pretty excited about that one.
Yeah.
Is that all the random stuff?
I think so. But the thing is, with McDonald's, I didn't know they were doing a whole bunch of things that we saw at that yard sale. They had a whole
ton of McDonald's stuff.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of like multiverses thing, which is a game that came out I don't know how long ago, but they basically canceled it because it wasn't really ready. And then several months later, they brought it back. I don't know. By that point, people stopped caring about it. Basically, it's a Smash Brothers clone. Except with, like, Shaggy. Somehow. I don't know what all...
Well, there was something versus Velma.
Yeah. I don't know what...
There was something with the one dude from Adventure Time.
Yeah, Finn or Jake.
Finn.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. They're pulling from all these places. And I'm like, damn. At least Nintendo...
Yeah, it was kind of random.
Yeah, and I when I first played the game, I'm like, what? I thought there was like a basketball player in there or something. I don't know, Michael Jordan, LeBron
Maybe.
James. I can't tell you. I haven't played that since the beta. And that was really what it was, a beta. Because, you know, the game wasn't really finished. But it's one of those kind of live service games as well, where it's like, oh yeah, you could pay for more, or just wait for another season, and you might get that in the Battle Pass. But they also had, like, Crash Bandicoot merch that I didn't even know existed. It was like Crash Team or something like that. I'm like, I didn't know they did that. Otherwise, I would have considered going to McDonald's more for that, because it's video game based.
Well, we would have picked up Happy Meals if we would have known it was something you wanted.
Yeah. Which, I mean, same thing with multiverses. Well, I don't really care too much about multiverses anyway. I would have probably gotten it because it's video game based. Because, yeah, I'm a hardcore gamer. Anything video game based, I want it. Even if it's something I will never use.
Well, I think we're at a good stopping point. You can take Equestria to your room
Yeah.
and all your ears and tails and assorted parts.
Yeah.
And we'll switch over and get ready for either Boxu or Soul Crate, Soul Box, Soul whatever,
Same thing.
Japan or Korea or Timu.
Yeah.
That's what's coming up. That, and I need to put some lotion on.
Yeah.
My poison ivy is getting better. We are now, and I don't know how well y'all can see. Well, if I got where I was actually in the frame. Well, I can't get to the frame. Anyway, it has gone completely scaly. It's all super dry and scaly. I can't really see it on screen. Anyway, I picked up some lotion that I hope will help. The other lotions I've tried so far haven't done much. So, yeah. Go try that.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop here, move some stuff around,
Yeah.
and then we'll be ready to do something.
Yeah. All I know is expect a whole bunch of videos just rapidly. You have this one.
Tomorrow is the beginning of the Rayco yard sale
Yeah.
for the weekend. So we're planning on going to it in the morning.
Yeah. 9 o'clock at least.
And then...
Which means we have to get there early so we can take a look around, because last time...
Then tomorrow night, I get to work.
Yeah.
Midnight to 9:30 a.m. Friday. Friday, we're hoping to go see Beetlejuice. So prior to that, we're going to watch Beetlejuice. Just because I think it'll be fun to watch it again. I love that movie. And it'll give us a little refresher, so we're raring to go on Friday.
Yeah, which I highly doubt anybody that's ever worked on or is working on the movie is watching this. You have to make a third one, even if the second one is garbage, because that makes sense. Beetlejuice, and then Beetlejuice.
Yeah, you got to have a third one.
Yep,
but you can't wait 30 years.
Exactly.
Your cast will not be available in another 30 years.
Most of them are going to become Beetlejuice at that point. They're going to be dead.
Michael Keaton's in his 70s.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara's not all that young. Winona Ryder's my age.
Yeah. Unless they do something in the movie to make it where like a next generation thing. But that would be kind of stupid.
Then it wouldn't be Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But they've got to have it in mind that they're doing a third one, the way they're titling it.
Yeah.
They could have just called it Beetlejuice 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I wonder how these sequels...
I'm still curious about the Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii that was supposed to be made, never got made.
Huh. That's what I also know. Like, a lot of things that are supposed to be made, video game, movie, TV show, whatever, like, they may have been just a concept, but there still might be, like, concept art or something around. Or they may have actually done some production, but scrapped it early. So there might be some potential footage out there.
From what I understand, there was at least a script.
Yeah. Which, if we can get that, that'd be good for Lost Media.
But they were definitely at some point talking about doing a second Beetlejuice movie, and it was Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That'd be something to watch. But I also find it weird how people are timing things. Like Ghostbusters...
Why is it taking 30 years for sequels?
Yeah. I mean, Ghostbusters did it right. I mean, the first one, I don't know if the second one's like in the 80s or 90s, but they didn't take that long to make a sequel. Beetlejuice takes forever. We still never got the Goonies 2, which...
They keep talking about it, and then it disappears, and then they start talking about it again, and then it disappears.
Yeah.
Well, if they would have done it at the right time, they had cast ready to go.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
now some of the cast isn't available.
Yep. They're either dead or they're so old that it's not gonna matter at that point. But even so, like even
They've
just
waited so long, it's lost its magic.
yeah,
They would have to do it that it's their kids,
yeah,
and then that's just not the same.
that and that,
Now, see, now you're talking about Ghostbusters.
yeah,
Ghostbusters did a sequel right away, and then they had a long span of time, and they rebooted it with the women,
yeah.
which I didn't think was all that bad.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, but I didn't think was that bad.
Yeah, it was all right.
And obviously, it had support of the original cast because they made appearances.
Yep.
They were in it.
Yeah.
So they obviously didn't hate it that much.
Yeah.
So if they ended up not liking it after the fact, then that's its own thing.
Yeah.
But they were supportive of it.
Yeah.
And then they came back with, was it Afterlife? Was that the next one?
I think so.
Where it's like the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they reprised their roles, those that are still alive. They had to CGI Harold Ramis, Egon,
Yeah.
because, I mean, he passed. So the only way he could be in the movie was as CGI.
Yeah, either CG or AI. One of
And
those two.
they brought him in briefly, and it was like his kids.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they met up with the originals to fight the thing at the end. And I thought that was pretty good. I haven't seen, was it Frozen Empire or whatever
whatever the latest one
the newest
is.
one was? I haven't seen it yet. Eventually.
Yeah.
One of these days. I don't get to the movie that often. That's why I'm so excited about Friday.
And that's also the same thing with Top Gun. They took forever to make a sequel of that.
Almost 30 years.
Yep.
And it was almost the same movie.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that was the same.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that was different, but about half of it was the same movie.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, Iceman, Val Kilmer's in really bad shape.
Yeah.
And Iceman was in it for a couple minutes, basically telling Maverick to go teach this class or whatever.
Yeah.
Giving him his assignment, whatever. He could barely talk.
Yeah.
He has not been well in years, and they stuck him in there for a cameo, basically, just so they could say Iceman was in the Top Gun movie. Well, obviously Goose wasn't coming back because Goose died in the first movie.
Yeah.
But it was his son that was in this group. So there was the whole dynamic between Goose's son being, "You killed my dad. You know, it's because of you that he died, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And then coming around, having a character arc where he actually then becomes Maverick's wingman or whatever kind of a thing. But they butt heads through the whole movie until the very end when it push comes to shove, they save each other.
Yeah.
And okay, yeah, whatever. Little heavy-handed on that, but it was an alright movie. I don't think it was better than the first. A lot of people said it was better than the first. I don't agree.
They clearly never watched the first of that.
I have seen the first one so many times. Matter of fact, we rented that video so many times that we finally asked the guy at the video store if we could just buy a copy.
Yeah.
And he sold us one of the used copies for like $25. But that's before movies were readily available in stores.
Yeah.
And a rental copy was like $100 for the rentals store.
Yeah.
So because my parents bought me a copy of Dirty Dancing, and it was like $100.
Damn.
Because they ordered it through one of the rental stores, and they said we have to order it at this price.
Yeah.
And that was my big present, is they got me that. Which was interesting because I'd never seen it, so I don't know why they thought I would have wanted that particular movie. Although I did end up falling in love with it, and I've seen it probably 20, 25 times at least.
Yeah.
If not more than that. It's one of those, every time I see it on TV, I'll stop and watch it. Same with Top Gun. Every time I see it on TV, I sit and watch it.
Yeah.
And I've got several movies that are like that.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is one that if I saw it on TV, I would stop and be completely absorbed by it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But see, they did the Dirty Dancing sequel right away.
Yeah.
Because Patrick
And
Swayze was in it.
that's the same thing with
Havana Nights.
Yeah, same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th.
Well,
Like
those were cash in while they're popular.
Yeah. But at least they were
Those
decent.
sequels were money grabs.
Yeah, but at least they were decent. And yeah, the first one was clearly the best one.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the third one had its place. Second one was okay. Fourth one was tolerable. Well, yeah, when we started getting to like the Dream Warriors, it just got weird. I'm like, oh yeah, so there's this.
They never
girl.
put Freddy in space, did they?
No, they put Jason in space. Why
Jason went to space. Leprechaun went to space.
Yeah, I'm also surprised they didn't put Michael Myers in space either. He was too busy in Haddonfield killing people.
Michael versus Freddy in space.
I'd watch that honestly, as long as it's Robert Englund.
It has to be Robert Englund.
I don't care who Michael Myers is. You know, anybody.
My preference for Jason is Kane Hodder.
Yeah.
He played something else, and I was surprised when I heard it. It was another horror guy.
And there's a lot of horror people, so that's.
Yeah. And they said, he was played by Kane Hodder. I'm like, excuse me, what? Because I recognize that name as Jason, not as whoever the other one was. I forget.
That's like the only Jason I think everybody ever talks about because he's the most well known.
Yeah, he's the best known. Because he played him multiple times.
Yeah.
And he was good at it. I mean, that's the Jason I recognize the most. But when you come down to it, Friday the 13th wasn't even Jason to start with.
Yeah, it was his mother.
It was his mother.
And then
the second one, he didn't have the hockey mask. That didn't happen until the third one.
Yeah.
So what everybody thinks of as Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th wasn't until the third movie.
Yeah.
Where Halloween had the different problem of they did Michael Myers the first two movies and then did something else for the third movie.
That was nothing.
And made people mad because they were all expecting Michael Myers again.
And to be honest, I don't blame them.
And, well, they made the mistake of doing two of them back to back with the same storyline.
Yeah.
If they were going to make it an anthology series, they should have either started with the third one.
Yeah.
Or did the first one, then the third one, then the second one.
Yeah.
And alternate between Michael Myers and other stuff.
Yeah.
Other things that happened on Halloween.
Yeah.
Michael Myers still could be your main guy. But the way they did it messed up the whole anthology thing because people were then expecting Michael Myers. And all you heard was how horrible the third one was because Michael Myers isn't even in it and it doesn't have anything to do with... Except that the original concept for Halloween was for it to be different stories.
Yeah.
And people have now come around to, hey, that's not a bad movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
You just have to forget the Michael Myers part.
Yeah.
It's a different animal altogether. They just call it Season of the Witch. Don't even call it Halloween 3.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like a lot of movies. They don't know what they're doing in the sequels and prequels. And the whole timeline is just insanity. I mean, especially with Halloween. I mean, you have the original timeline, and you have, like, the H2O timeline, and you have the Rob Zombie timeline.
Well, okay, so you've got
and you go back
the timeline that goes 1, 2, 4, whatever. And then they're like, no. Scrap that. 1, 2, new ones.
Yeah.
We're going to skip this whole section. But we've already seen all of those, so we know those stories.
Yeah.
And then Rob Zombie comes in and just does his own thing anyway. Forget what is established canon. We're just going to muck it up.
but at least they can say that Danny Trejo was in it. Which, I mean, you can't say that about the normal Friday the 13th, or not Friday the 13th. I mean, you can't say that about Friday the 13th either. But yeah, you can't say that
I
about.
like Danny Trejo. I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah. I honestly, I find it interesting, like, the Rob Zombie wasn't that bad. Because when you think about it, Trejo's character was the only one that was ever nice to him. But yet, we find out, I mean, we already knew it at that point, but it doesn't matter how good you are to him, they'll still kill you anyway. But at least we know that somebody actually cared about him because his whole family didn't like him. People at school didn't like him. And I mean, that's why he killed the bully when he did, which I don't blame him. I would too. But, I mean, Danny Trejo was like the only good one. I mean, even Loomis was kind of a dick at that point. Then again, he was obsessed with him. Same thing.
Loomis became as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
Because he was a one-track mind.
Yeah. All he ever cared about was
All he ever cared about was going after Michael.
Yeah.
Stop Michael. Michael is evil. Michael is evil. Michael is evil. Oh,
yeah.
Maybe he's not as evil as you make him out to be, but you only portray him in one way, so
that's how he's going to act.
Obviously, that's how he's going to become.
Yeah.
Because you keep telling him that.
Yeah.
Have you really worked with him?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, why does he always go after Laurie Strode?
Oh, she's his sister. No, she's not. Yes, she is. No, she's not. Which
Michael,
is it?
Michael,
which timeline are we following now?
Yeah, because Michael already killed his sister.
Are they related or not?
Because if they are related, that'd be weird, considering he already killed his own sister to find out, oh, I have another sister. I'm going to kill her. Like, how does he know about Laurie? How does that...
Unless the mother was pregnant at the time?
Yeah, maybe. But then again, it was all those years, so how would he still have known?
Would they be feeding him information while he's in the asylum?
Yeah, maybe. Like, oh yeah, your other sister's doing all right. At that point...
Other sister? What?
Yeah,
what?
Like, what are you talking about? I killed my sister back in, the early days when I was a kid.
He was like 6.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, I don't know.
It was 15 years later?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Which means she would have already been alive because she was like 17 or 18.
Yeah. Which at that point...
So, that would make her, what, 3 or 4 years younger?
Yeah. And it's clear...
So, why...
Yeah. And
that doesn't make any sense.
And it's clearly obvious she doesn't know anything about Michael outside of the stories of Haddonfield and the ties to that house, but somehow Michael somewhat knows her and goes after her every chance.
And she's not Myers, she's Strode.
Yeah.
But that has to do with her being adopted or something. I don't know.
It's weird.
They made it so convoluted to try to shoehorn in a plot point that doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with one of the movies. I forgot what, H2O or something like that. But people thought that she actually killed Michael, but it was actually like a paramedic or something.
When did he have time to switch places?
Yeah. And besides, he would have just killed the paramedic anyway. Wouldn't have kept him alive for Laurie to just run him over. Or however it was. Like, nothing makes sense.
Yeah, see, now that we're talking about it, the timeline doesn't work for her to be his younger sister.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough time in between.
Yeah.
And she would have already been alive, so why wouldn't he have tried to do something to her then?
Yeah.
Was she with the parents when they were out wherever they were at, and then came home to find him standing there with a bloody knife?
Yeah.
After killing the older sister.
Yeah.
Was the older sister babysitting both of them? If so, why wouldn't he have killed the baby then?
Yeah. And also...
Because if she's like 17, 18, in the first movie,
Yeah.
and it's been 15 years, she would have already been alive.
Yeah. The whole timeline of Halloween doesn't make any sense.
Do any of y'all know how this timeline works? Because I think we have stumbled across a major plot hole.
Yeah. Hey, Cinemassacre, AVGN, James Rolfe, whatever you want to go by today, help us.
Hey, Cinema Snob.
Nostalgia Critic, somebody, anybody. We need your help.
We got questions.
And
they're all a group of friends, so
yeah.
They can discuss it between them.
Yeah.
We got questions.
Yeah, we want to know how the whole timeline works for
How does
Halloween.
this work? Because if she's a high school senior, 17, 18 years old, then she would have already been alive.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's 15 years later.
Yeah, I think so. Most likely.
Maybe I have that wrong. Maybe it's 20 years later, and then she could have been born after.
Maybe.
But she'd still only be a couple years difference.
Yeah. And nobody would know how exactly he would know about her.
Okay, now see, this is driving me nuts.
And I guess that would also kind of depend on the timeline as well. Yeah, people theorize that like 1 and whatever plus the newer movies are the canonical one. But some people also speculate that all of them are somehow, some way canonical. Which, if that is the case,
years.
What is the proper timeline? Like, how did we get from the first one
between the
to Halloween Kills, ends, whatever, and also the timeline for H2O and everything else? Because technically, different timelines might mean different versions of Laurie and Michael, even though they're the same characters. Different timelines. So, different possible speculations as to their relations. Maybe he was, related to Laurie in, like, some other timeline, like maybe H2O, or maybe like the first or third or whatever, or second or something. But somehow...
15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night, 1963, Michael Myers escapes from a mental hospital and returns to the small town of Haddonfield, Illinois to kill again.
Yeah.
So yeah, she would have already been born.
Yeah. Interesting. But another thing I've also wondered, I mean, yeah, you could say, like, what Laurie said at the end of, I don't know, Kills or whatever, that, like, or basically that the second version, or the second movie after the first reboot, or whatever, the second one that was actually decent. Not that...
He was 6 years old when he killed his teenage sister Judith on Halloween 1963. 15 years later, he escapes the sanitarium and returns to Haddonfield, which makes him 21.
Okay.
So that means that she would have that Laurie Strode then would have been born already, because she was like 17 or 18.
Yeah, she was still in high school.
So she would have been at least 3 years old.
Yeah. Huh. But another thing I've always really wondered, how is it that nobody can really kill Michael, especially at his old age? I mean, yeah, you could speculate that at the end of the last Halloween movie, when Laurie put him in the grinder, that technically killed him. But this is Michael Myers we're talking about. And also, how can one man be shot several times in his lifetime?
How old was Laurie in the 1978 Halloween?
And also, how can he be beaten to death by a bunch of blunt objects, stabbed and whatever, and still live?
Lori was 17.
Hmm.
The reason she's not present as a child in the Myers house is because the element of being siblings wasn't introduced until Halloween 2.
So
Neither Carpenter nor Deborah Hill wrote a single word of the Halloween script, believing Michael and Lori were related. Yes, Halloween 2 does slightly retcon the original opening by doing this, as there are no other children seen on screen, but it could quite simply be assumed that a child, Lori, was asleep in another room, not that it matters in the new timeline anyway, as they're no longer related.
What the hell? And also, if it is possible that Lori was in another room of that house, why didn't he kill her?
If she was there, why wouldn't he have killed her too?
Yeah. And another thing that doesn't really make sense to me.
So if she was 17 and he was 6, well, if she was 17 and he's 21, then she would have been 3 or 4 at the time of Judith's murder.
Yeah.
So if Judith was babysitting both Michael and Lori, why didn't Michael kill Lori first?
Yeah.
Because that would have been the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Kill the baby. Kill
Yeah.
the teenager.
Yeah.
Because the teenager's going to be able to fight back. The baby's not going to fight back.
Yeah. At least not well.
And I mean, I'm looking at 3-year-olds that they're still babies.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, and the way things were flowing there, 3 years old is still a baby.
Yeah.
So that means either Lori wasn't in the house. I mean, I guess he could have left her alive for some unknown reason. Maybe he just had a problem with his older sister, didn't like getting bossed around. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe he thought he could push Lori around. Who knows?
Or maybe he just didn't like him having sex. Because wasn't the boyfriend there as well?
I don't remember. I would have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I think the boyfriend was there.
Maybe Lori was with the parents, but the parents weren't shown with the child when they showed up after the murder.
Yeah.
I would have thought, you would have seen them carrying her in or something.
Yeah. Huh. But another thing I want to know, how did he become so immortal? Like, shouldn't he have been born that way anyway, even before killing his own sister? I mean, he's been shot several times in the first movie, and he was shot some more in the reboots and other timelines. He was stabbed.
He basically teleports.
Yeah. I mean, he got stabbed a couple of times. He's been beaten with baseball bats and crowbars and golf clubs and everything else. And he's still alive. But yet, in the latest movie, he's somehow, some way weaker, so he had to have somebody else kill for him to get his strength back. How does that work?
Well, how did the whole Freddy controlling Jason to make Jason kill people so that he could gain strength to come back in Freddy vs. Jason?
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense there either.
Horror movies don't make any sense.
Do you realize we've been now talking about movies for a half hour?
God damn.
Yeah. I was, trying to end the video, and here we are just rambling on.
It was supposed to be about tails, ears, and ponies, and whatever else.
Ponies and ponies and ponies.
Yeah.
Ponytails.
And next thing you know...
Yeah, well, that's what we can call the video. Ponytails.
Yeah. And then we started going on a damn tangent about Friday the 13th and Halloween and theories. If Matt Pat was still around doing film theory, that's something we could ask him. Hey, Matt Pat, what's your thoughts on the Halloween timeline? What's your thoughts on Lori and Michael? Because none of this is making sense. It's almost as confusing as a Five Nights at Freddy's timeline. And that, oh god, the lore in that whole series
I was completely confused in the movie because I'm not familiar enough with the games to know the lore.
Yeah.
So when they were coming up with stuff, I'm like,
Because that's the
what does
thing.
that mean? What? Explain this to me.
Because that's the thing. Some of what was in the movie was based on the games, obviously, but also the books, which the books are somehow tied to the games as their own lore. So basically, you have to play all the games, you have to read all the books, and a bunch of other things related to Five Nights.
I just like it when Markiplier's mom plays.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The games themselves, 9 times out of 10, are boring. You just sit in one spot and try not to die. Simple as that. But the lore itself is what I think keeps people going. Because people want to find out more about how the timeline works and how the lore works. And that's the same thing with a bunch of other movies and games and whatever. They want to find out how the timeline works.
Did we mention that at the yard sale where we got the ponies, we only spent $2?
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Because he had picked out these two sets,
Yeah.
the pink and the blue, and then we had
The
this anniversary
anniversary
pony, and she was like $2 for the whole thing. I'm like, cool. And I was like, well, we can come back maybe tomorrow after Reiko and see if the other ponies are still. She's like, just take them.
Yeah.
So we gathered up. We had this massive pile of ponies.
Yeah.
And I was gonna pay her, and she's like, oh no, just take them.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Yeah, just take them. I'm like, okay. But that's like a whole box of stuff she doesn't have to box up now. So
Yeah.
I'm like shocked.
Yeah.
Where the 4 pieces we got at the other yard sale cost me $2.50.
Yeah.
For 4 McDonald's toys. Because the 2 that were still in the packages were 75 cents, and the 2 out of the package were 50 cents.
Yeah.
That little plastic baggie was worth a quarter?
Nope.
No. I'm just going to rip them out of that package anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see. I have things that are collectible that I keep in their packaging.
Yeah.
But McDonald's toys?
Yeah.
Those are so overly mass produced.
Yeah. Especially in a warehouse in China somewhere, most likely.
Yeah. There's probably a warehouse full of those somewhere.
Yeah. But
So
another thing I wondered about some things and how people price them. How do they determine the worth of it? Like, how do you go from one yard sale that might sell something for 25 cents, $50, $1, whatever, have that same item at another yard sale for like $5? It's the same thing.
I don't know. But I thought the clothing at that one yard sale was way too expensive.
Yeah.
Although those 2 items did look pretty much new.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to pay $15 for used clothing.
Yeah.
When I could probably pay that and get it new.
Yeah. And that's like going to some places, like maybe GameStop or yard sales, and finding video games. Like, assuming they have the same exact game. Maybe sports game, because it's easier to find those. One yard sale can have them for a quarter or 50 cents, which is what some I'd pay for because of sports games, outdated before they even came out when they were released. But, as time progresses, we're talking PS2, Xbox 360, which are really almost 20 years old by now in terms of Xbox 360. So, an almost 20-year-old game for like $5. How does that work? Now, some games, like maybe Far Cry, God of War, something like that actually has...
Nintendo games don't go down.
Yep. Buy them when you can.
Buy them when they're cheap.
Otherwise, you'll regret it. We're
because,
talking...
like, Smash Brothers,
Oh, yeah.
Mario Party. I
Yep.
was looking at... We missed one of the Mario Party games, and I was trying to track it down. It was so much more expensive than if I would have bought it brand new.
Yep.
And at some point, we missed it.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I guess I'm not getting that one then, because I'm not paying full price for, or more than full price,
Yeah.
for a used copy.
That's the same thing with Fire Emblem.
Yeah, well, that's another Nintendo game.
Yep. Disc by itself I've seen go for 300 at least. The box around 100 or 150. Like, a box is just a box. It does not. I don't care what drugs you're smoking, huffing, puffing, giving birth to. You do not sell a game case for $100. Not even Steelbook.
Some people are stupid enough to buy them for that.
Yep. And especially when I could just
The only
go,
difference is the sheet of paper that they
Yep.
slide into it.
Yep. Which is not worth it either.
Which, if you've already got game cases, all you need is the piece of paper.
Yep.
And that sheet of paper is not worth $100.
I
can
can
print one off.
Yep, I can do that. And I could get the game for free by going to one of those ROM sites. And people say, oh, piracy. Who cares? It's a 20-year-old game.
Current games right now, you're only running them anyway.
Yep.
If it doesn't come with physical media in the package, you are renting the game.
Yep. And
because as soon as they decide to turn their server off, you have no game available.
Yep.
You have just paid $70 for nothing.
Yep. And if you put microtransactions and you spend on that, you probably spent hundreds or thousands for nothing.
I got caught up in that on one game, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm spending money on pixels?
Yeah, that you're never going to use anyway.
I have twice paid for the one game I play all the time.
Yeah. I mean, something small.
One, because I did, well, I've paid a total of $10 between the two times. Which, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that much.
Yeah.
Because of the amount of enjoyment I'm getting from the game.
Yeah.
But the one, I didn't realize that to level that particular character up, I'm going to have to keep buying.
Yep.
So that one's never going to get leveled up.
Yeah.
The other one, I didn't realize that I still had another week to go to try to earn enough pieces to unlock the character. And I was so close. And if I paid to get the second tier, which was $5, then I would be able to unlock it and level it up one.
Yeah.
And then after I did that, I was like, well, shoot, I got another week, and I was able to level up again. But still, I was like, I'm not paying again for tier 2. I will just go with tier 1.
Yeah.
The free tier. So both times, really, I could have gotten by without doing it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how easy it was going to be to get 5-star heroes. Or I wouldn't have bought the first one to start with.
Yeah.
Because I never use her.
And that's the thing about some of the games I play. 9 times out of 10, they're pay to win. Yeah, they're free to play, technically. Yeah. Just download it and play it for free.
Yeah, the players that have all the big might, most of them have paid for that.
Yeah, same thing. There's a game I've been playing, Bleach Brave Souls. Basically, all the characters you can max out and do all this, nonsense to. I mean, it's bullshit.
I just take my time. I do the events I want to do. And
I mean, that's the thing. And I also think it's much more...
Oh. That reminds me. I need to
it's a lot...
check something.
Well, here's what I think. I think it's a lot better to do it, just grind every day. Do your daily logins, weekly logins, whatever.
Yeah, do your dailies. You'll get there.
Yep. And I feel like if you're somehow, some way...
There's always going to be somebody bigger and stronger.
Yeah, which means you'll have to get stronger than that. And then just do it.
And the only way you're going to get ahead of them is if you pay a bunch of money.
Yep.
And it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Pay it. Play it for the enjoyment, not for what you can get out of it, because you're really technically not getting anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's
maybe bragging rights. Oh, I was like the top player on this day.
Yeah. So
and then somebody came and trounced you.
Yeah, within that hour. Like, you think you're the best, but then some guy who spent millions of dollars is a god. And he just started playing.
Well, the guy that
an hour ago.
in our state that is the highest right now. We had 2 or 3 days where somebody else was higher than him, and they decided to leave to go to another state. But they were basically going from state to state
Yeah,
so they could be the top guy in all the states.
that's stupid.
Okay. I don't understand what you get out of that, but more power to you.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. If you somehow do all the grinding and all that, and you make it to #1 on the leaderboards, that's much more of an accomplishment. Even if you're just, there for an hour and you get completely annihilated, get dropped back to 2 or 10 or 100. The fact that you were able to make it to #1, even for a short period of time, completely free, because you grinded, that,
You earned it.
yep, that's worth it.
If you pay to play, you don't earn it.
Yep. There is no satisfaction at all.
You bought your position, so what? Nobody cares.
Anybody can do that anywhere.
And how does that change your life? Oh, you're poorer now.
Yep. Now you have no house, you have no kids because the wife took them, assuming you had a wife in the first place. Your life is ruined because of this. You spend a whole bunch of money that you don't have in the first place. That's the thing. A lot of people, they cannot afford all these microtransactions, and yet they do it anyway.
Oh, 2 more hours and then they can... Okay.
Now, if you were a millionaire or a billionaire and money was no longer a problem, maybe. But even then, do it in small increments. Like, oh, I want to get some extra, whatever. Here's like $5 or $10. Because money is not an issue. But if you are poor, or even if you have like a couple hundred, maybe 1,000, it's not worth it. You're better off buying physical media anyway. And not microtransactions. You definitely should get something out of what you pay for. And if it's a game like Call of Duty or Battlefield or Star Wars Battlefront, that's even worse. Because on top
Did I not play this last night?
I don't know. But on top of buying a game for full price, you decide, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to microtransact. Pretty soon that 60, 70 bucks you spent on a game turns to thousands and thousands. And now you are alone with nothing to show for anything.
He bought some pixels.
Yeah. There are people out there that play the latest COD game every single time a new bundle comes out, and they never use it. They only use like 1 or 2. They don't use all hundreds or thousands. But they buy every single one. They buy all the skins, they buy all the weapon upgrades or whatever, all the characters, and I'm just sitting here like, what? You are spending several thousands of dollars on things that you never use. What kind of a moron are you? Because unless it was something like a promotion. Like, oh, Genshin Impact gave me all this currency to spend in game. Or whatever. Maybe.
But if you're not buying that currency, it's coming from other source, then that's different.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's fine because, whatever. That, and if you're being promoted by, maybe Genshin Impact or whatever, at this point, anybody with a pulse has been told, oh yeah, sign up for Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh, good lord.
Like, I have heard
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah. Which
It's not a bad game.
It's fine. I've played a little bit of it. But I've played games exactly just like that. I played League of Angels.
The thing is, with Raid Shadow Legends, they sponsor everybody under the sun.
Yep.
Except me. And I was actually playing the damn game.
Yep.
I'm like, hello, I'll take a sponsorship.
Yeah. Most of the people you hear about...
I did videos where I played the game.
You hear about everybody like John Tron or whatever. They always say, oh yeah, join me in my clan or whatever. I'll see you there. No,
No, you won't.
they're too busy. They're busy with YouTube. They're busy with emails and whatever else. They're busy with their actual lives. They don't have
What did
time
I
to play
miss?
Raid Shadow Legends. And even if they had all the time in the world to play Raid Shadow
I'm
Legends,
confused.
they are not going to talk to you individually unless you can provide something for them. You're just a commoner. You're nothing. You're just a cheeseburger with no cheese or burger. You're just buns. Totally useless. Unless you can provide something.
Anaconda don't want none unless
Yeah.
you got fun, son.
Unless you can provide something like maybe a sponsorship or a collaboration and you're worthwhile. Like, Markiplier is not going to talk to me. JonTron is not going to talk to me.
Now, didn't Markiplier, like, that do whatever on your one live stream?
Technically, yes. But it wasn't directly him. Basically, during that one live stream, it was Thankmas.
Oh, we did Sonic today? Huh, how about that?
Huh. But basically, it was during a Thankmas live stream, and everybody was doing it. Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, PewDiePie, everybody. And Markiplier did something. He's like, go and find anybody and everybody that you can that has Thankmas hashtag or whatever, which I did. And basically go into their live stream and kick the shit out. And so I'm like, okay, where are all these people coming from? Because I had people say, oh, we're from the Kick clan. We are from the Kick crew. We have been sent by the benefactor. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, it's good that you're watching my content even for just a small split second because my views skyrocketed. But I didn't find out until a little bit later that Markiplier was doing a live stream and he said that. So while it wasn't directly him, per se, he did have something to do with it. So that was something. But like, that's another thing I've always found really weird, aside from everything, is that people think that by talking on like YouTube or a platform that they're gonna get noticed by Markiplier or Jacksepticeye or PewDiePie or anybody. Or like in this case, a lot of VTubers or like Pokimane or something like that. They don't care about you. I mean, yeah, Markiplier is different, like he might, but he's not gonna care about you in the way that you think. Because there are like several hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people out there that are doing the exact same thing. He does not have time for you. You know, unless you're like Ethan or Bob or Wade or anybody else that are his friends, basically a small group of people, or somebody that he chooses to collaborate with, yeah, basically you're nothing to them. And like, I don't understand how people can be like, oh, well, you know, Markiplier liked my comment. So?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. I mean, there were people that I followed, whether it be on Twitter. I mean, I actually somehow, some way, had like Channel Awesome, which was the Nostalgia Critic and his crew, basically like something I posted or I commented on Twitter. But they were doing that with everybody else. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's great. It felt great to be like, hey, you know, Channel Awesome. Probably not necessarily the Nostalgia Critic himself. Probably just some on his PR team. Yeah. But still,
and they saw that you made a post or whatever, and were like, "Hey, we appreciate that."
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I mean, that's as far as it went. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I also gave him a recommendation to do like a My Little Pony movie as like a review for Nostalgia Critic, but I didn't see anything about it, which I'm fine with. I mean, hey, if they do it, they do it. If they don't, they don't. I don't care. But I'm not going to go completely insane. Oh my god, he noticed me, Senpai! Yes! I have been chosen! Because there's a lot of people that are like that, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Just because they like your comment, just because they may have replied to your comment.
Well, okay, so I've been watching videos from a channel called Movies Never Say Die.
Yeah.
And
That's not right.
I subscribed, and now every so often he'll put up a poll or something, and I'll comment. And every time I comment, they like it. And a lot of times they reply back.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And I
Yeah.
really feel like it is this guy because he's a semi-small channel. He's not
Yeah.
huge. So he has the opportunity, to reply back.
Yeah.
I haven't seen or heard from them in a while, but Wildcat Nation,
Yeah.
she was commenting and stuff on my channel a lot, and we were commenting back and forth to each other, and that's pretty cool. I don't know whatever happened to Cheryl at Are We There yet. She kind of disappeared.
Huh.
I haven't seen any new stuff coming out from her. I'm going to have to look and see if maybe it's just not coming up in my feed, but it's been a while. But she and I were, commenting back and forth. Cherry Berry, I think was her name. We were commenting back and forth in the comments section, and that was pretty cool. So I do feel like sometimes if they're smaller channels,
Yeah.
you do actually get to interact with the people.
But once they get too big.
But I've had other channels where, oh yeah, I comment back and stuff, and have been completely ignored every time I leave them a message or try to contact them in any way.
Yeah.
Like Books and Lala, for example. I enjoy some of her content, and she did, I don't know, a year or two ago, it was a Canadian-based readathon. And we were doing, in our Goodreads group, kind of a travel-oriented theme. And I messaged her in a couple different places on Goodreads, through YouTube, through her channel, saying, hey, my Goodreads group is really interested in adapting your bingo thing that you're doing for your challenge into a challenge for our group. Would that be okay? I mean, we will give you full credit for the idea, what have you. Never once heard back from her. And I'm just like, here you are asking us to contact you, and yet you will not respond. Every time I've ever tried to contact her about anything, I've never gotten a response.
Huh.
So there are channels that are like that.
Yeah.
It's like they've got their friends that they talk to all the time, but if you contact them and you're not in that inner circle, you may or may not get acknowledgement.
Yeah.
And that's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
I try to interact with comments and things that are left. I appreciate it if they are not rude comments.
Yeah.
You're not going to goad me into an argument in the comment section. I will just delete it.
Yeah.
I want it to be a family-friendly channel, and there's no need to be rude.
Yeah.
Like somebody on one of the taste test snack boxes was like, you shouldn't be buying all these snack boxes because you really don't need to be eating all these fatty snacks.
Oh boy.
First of all, it's my money. I can spend it on what I want. Second of all, if you notice, I am not eating every single thing in the box on screen. We're tasting everything, but we're not eating all of everything all at once. So we are spreading those snacks out. We still have some of the Columbia snacks in baggies sealed in the microwave so that we can eat them later on.
Yeah.
And that's been, 2 weeks at least since we opened that?
Yeah,
it's been a little while.
Yeah.
So where do you get off telling me what I can and can't eat?
Yeah.
That's none of your business.
That's the same thing with,
I found that extremely rude, and I deleted it.
Yeah.
Which then prompted me to say at the beginning of the next video, hey, I've been getting a lot of rude comments, because she wasn't the only one that made rude comments. Somebody else made a rude comment about something else, and then she jumped in on that comment too. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this in the comment section. You can be polite. You can say, like, somebody just put the word disgusting. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Does that mean they think the food in the box was disgusting? Do they think I'm disgusting?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. So that one I left alone because it could mean any number of things. But when it's a personal attack,
Yeah.
it's gone. If you're going to make personal attacks on me or the Neko,
Yeah.
no, we're not tolerating that. That is not what this channel is about. So you can either be polite or you can just not say anything.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be rude or make personal attacks, I mean, and it doesn't mean being rude to just me or him. Being rude to anybody in my comment section, I'm not having it. We're not doing that. We're not playing those games.
Because that's the thing. A lot of people seem to forget about the golden rule that we were taught as kids.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
So if you want to be treated poorly, that's fine. We'll do that.
If you want to be treated mean, then go someplace where you can be treated mean.
Yeah, there's a lot
But
of
don't you
places.
be inflicting that on us because we're not having it.
Yeah.
Anyway, this video is over 45 minutes ago and we're still going.
Oh boy.
Actually, closer to an hour ago.
Damn.
Yeah. It would have been around a half hour to 40 minutes, and we're now at an hour and 20. So, yeah, we kind of have totally gotten off. But when you're here with me doing these videos, that happens a lot. You go ranting on games or something, and yeah. Anyway, I think this is probably a good spot to stop so that we can clear out the ponies.
Yeah.
You can move them to the stable in your room.
Yeah.
And then we can probably do Timu or one of the snack boxes. We got 2 snack boxes in Timu yet.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll probably have Reiko.
Yeah.
So
Because we always seem to find a decent amount there.
So I find it odd that they are doing it a month early.
Yeah.
I don't know. Usually they do it the same weekend as the library sale, but for some reason they're doing it a month early.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, remember to do all the YouTube-y things. Comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon to be notified of future uploads should the YouTube gods deem it worthy. And we will see you in the next video. Just please be polite. Be good people, as they say on the Dead Meat channel. James H. Janice always says be good people. Yeah, be good people.
Yep.
I totally agree with that. He gets my stamp of approval as if he needs it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like horror movies, he does the kill count on the Dead Meat channel.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
And,
I think I got a like from on Twitter at one point. It was Dead Meat or someone. I don't know if it was him.
Somebody
or,
associated with the channel.
Yeah. But I'm like, oh cool.
Yeah. They probably have somebody who goes through and
Yeah.
does that. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.